Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
A lot of talk about Cody Fajardo, the starting quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and the pressure that's on him. What did the general manager say on, I think it was Monday? Jeremy O'Day, this GM of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, saying, we want Cody to know the weight of the world is not on his shoulders. And I was like, when I read that, what?
He's in Saskatchewan.
Right. You're starting quarterback of one of the marquee franchises on the continent. Yes, the weight of the world is on his shoulders.
Jordan Love probably paid Aaron Rodgers to come back. Like, come on, we can't. Wait a sec. First of all,
yeah,
I'd understand that if Cody was starting for Toronto or for somebody else, but he's starting for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We understand that the weight of the world is on your shoulders, right? There's been an expectation over the last 15 years set that we're going to contend, and if we're not, you're going to hear about it. I mean, fans are pretty publicly known to voice their opinion to the players or about the players if they're not performing up to par. So that's a part of it, right? So you can't protect Cody from that. You can just hope he can go out and do it. And, I've seen, everybody talks about Jason Moss. I love Jason Moss. He's a great OC. But when he went from Mike Riley to Trevor Harris struggled a little bit, right? He threw the ball down the field more than he used to, right? So we'll see what happens if Moss learned from that and works different with Cody, or if he tries to make Cody push the ball down the field a little bit more and see what's going to happen. So we'll see.
Dude, it's the great unknown.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's a big day. It's opening day in the Canadian Football League.
How about that?
People are jacked. Yeah. My phone's going off all day with fans of all CFL teams just so excited that there's a game tonight. It's CFL opening night, and as I saw on SportsCenter this morning, it's been 620 days, apparently, since the last game.
Good morning, Rod Squad.
Yes, and good afternoon to those of you in the Eastern Time Zone. Welcome to the RPShow. It's Friday. It's what we call Flame Tech Football Friday. And if you want to know how we're doing today, just before our live guest showed up in the bunker, we were singing Christmas carols and Australian folk songs at the top of our lungs. So that's how we're doing.
Australian Christmas carols, yeah.
Australian Christmas carols and folk songs. So, yeah, I think we're ready for Friday.
Yes.
We're ready to talk some ball. Moose DuPont is with us. We are live on Game Plus television across the continent. We are streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And our very popular 24-hour sports radio feeds going at rodpedersen.com. Brought to you by Suds Full Service Car Wash, by the way. I went over there the other day because my car deserves it.
Yeah.
And I talked to Kirby. You all see the commercials on here all the time. And he couldn't talk. He was too busy. Run off his feet. Lined up around the block.
Wow.
At Suds Car Wash. So, hey, it's working. Thanks for supporting them.
Good.
And away we go. Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
A Flame Tech Football Friday, as I said. We got Craig Smith in studio. He's ready to join us next segment, our director of scouting. Very excited about what's going on in the CFL, the National Football League, of course. Andrew Hustler Paterson will be joining us from Winnipeg Sports Talk later on. Giulio Caravatta in the bunker here, BC Lions radio color guy, former CFL punter and quarterback, and TSN's Farhan Lalji will be with us as well to preview tonight's big showdown, Rough Riders and Lions. So that's a little bit of a roadmap for the show. Can we hit the quick six show topics, please, Director Jordan? Thank you. So I got to put these Moose a little out of order because you can imagine number one was Winnipeg beating Hamilton last night in the CFL lid lifter. That was like 6 o'clock this morning. I wrote that down. Things have changed.
Superseded.
Where's my bell? It's a big deal, and I'm going to read from the Canadian Press story here. Out of Tokyo, moments after Julia Grosso's kick deflected off the hands of the Swedish keeper and into the goal, her Canadian teammates charged onto the pitch at Tokyo Stadium in jubilation, Canada's women's soccer team is finally gold medalists, and their dramatic win in the gold medal match capped a huge day for Canada at the Tokyo Games. Canada captured 4 medals on the day, equaling its highest single-day output in Tokyo. We have hit 22 medals, as you said, Kathy. So if people had bet the over on our over-under, they'd have won.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people were saying under. So they won today 3-2 on penalty kicks. Don't at me, okay, because I watched. So you had, well, I didn't watch. I watched the regulation time, and then I had to go get in the steam at the gym. So can we wrap this up? You know what I'm saying? This is what I don't understand.
Yep.
And we got 2 full hours of football talk. I'm very happy that Canada won. It's a nation-defining moment. We'll be talking about this forever, and people will be saying, where were you when?
Yes.
And I will say, I was in the steam at Evolution Fitness, is what I will say, because they didn't end it in regulation time. And what I don't understand is I was on the elliptical surfing Twitter while watching the game because I'm a bit of a squirrel, and Arash Madani, just before they pulled Christine Sinclair out of the game, he said maybe it's time they look at pulling her out of the game. And I was like, And she never came back. And this is just me, okay, because I'm trying. My God, I just figured out baseball after a 25-year absence the other day. Now I'm trying to figure out soccer. This smacked to me of Wayne Gretzky being left on the bench for the 1998 Olympics medal shootout. What are you doing, Mark Crawford? And as you said, well, this is a thing. She's 38 years old. Pull her out of the game. I'm like, this is the biggest moment of her life. How do you pull her out? And Rod, you're the problem, as I learned in years of counseling. Rod, you're the problem. Got it. Been hammered into my head. I don't understand how in the biggest moment of her entire career, and the biggest moment in Canadian soccer, period, you pull your Wayne Gretzky. But they did win. They did win. So I just don't get it. Can you please make sense of it for me, Moose?
Yeah, you only get a certain number of substitutions. I believe it's 3. So you want fresh players. It's going to go into extra time and then a second extra period. And once you're pulled out, you can't come back in. So that's why she wasn't in the penalty kicks, the shootout, as it were. So they were able to survive and move on. I mean, what a performance by our goaltender, our keeper. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And just so much drama. I know we hate shootouts sometimes defining these big moments, but it wasn't just a shootout defining it. There was big saves and big goals and misses. And so there was plenty of drama. It was great to see.
Yeah, and I did see her come off. Jeff Kozak, one of our viewers, says she looked like she ran out of gas, and that's cool. She doesn't have to explain anything to anybody. I was just, what? Arash is calling for this, and then it happened, and it's the biggest moment. I don't get it, but they won. She'll get a medal, but she'll say I wasn't on the field for it. You know, it's weird. It's weird to me. But, hey, I don't need to get it. So that's point 1. By the way, the warm-up's brought to you by eCold Electric. Come check out our new Regina Data and Lighting Center, eCold Electric. Let's get to work. Okay, now to the football. And, yes, I was very excited to watch CFL football. We all were. My God, this whole country was, and CFL fans outside these borders. With it was a very CFL sim-like score out of IG Field last night. Yeah. 19-6. It was a sim-like game, but they started like a house on fire. And it is fun to be on Twitter during games if you can manage your own emotions. Because people were saying to me that Zach Caleros looked cold as ice. Blah blah blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? Did you see Zach prancing around? It looked like 10 years ago. How healthy. When he found Kenny Lawler on that first of 2 Kenny Lawler touchdowns. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers looked great. We had heard people predicting sloppy football and bad football, and I kind of expected drop passes, missed tackles, offside calls, procedure calls. There was none of that. Willie Jefferson was doing Willie Jefferson things, dropping back off the line and intercepting Jeremiah Masoli. Holy moly. How about Masoli?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, you got to do to the viewers what you did out on the curb, our curb coffee about Masoli.
Yeah, no, like you come out flexing and doing this and like prancing because you throw the big bomb, you go down the field like you own the Bombers, but it's 7-0 in the first quarter and it's really early, and then they didn't really do anything after that.
Right.
I guess it was 6-0, but still, he looked really good in that first drive. I'm like, oh my gosh, like where was this guy in the Grey Cup? Obviously he was hurt, but if they would have had him, and they're not going to miss these guys who are injured, and Winnipeg figured it out after that on defense.
Yeah. I gotta walk this back for a second. This is great. Somebody said that Christine Sinclair doesn't care. She's an Olympic champion forever. That part is true. But can I just relate something? Because it is the Rod Pedersen Show. And we'll get to the football later. But this is a very true story. Where is it? Here, Robin says, I don't think Sinclair cares. She is now an Olympic champion. When we won the Provincial Midget Hockey Championship. And you can ask Brent Renwick, because to this day, one of my closest friends, Buck, he rents my farmland now. He still reminds me of this. I played every single minute of the entire playoff run, Darren. Every minute. I was the goalie. Every start, finished every game. And we're in Prince Albert for the clinching game. And I'm going to tell you, we were up like 13-2.
2-game total point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're up 13-2 in the last. And the coach, Jim Munson me. And he took me out of the net with 10 minutes to go and put in Kenny Brooks. And I was like, what are you doing?
Spicy.
So it was the weirdest celebration ever when we won the championship, because the guy spilled off the bench and just mobbed me. Nothing against Kenny Brooks. But they're like, he didn't play all playoff. Brent Renwick to this day goes, who's the only goalie that wasn't on the ice when we won the provincial championship in 1989 and put that banner up in the rink? You. Am I completely misread this, or is Christine Sinclair going to say, I would have liked to have played the rest of the game to put a cherry on top of my wonderful career?
I always wonder how you feel. Now, again, winning a Stanley Cup, you win a Stanley Cup, but when you come in all dressed up but you didn't play that game,
yes,
to carry the cup, do you feel that same emotion and everything? I don't know. I would imagine it feels pretty darn good, but it's not quite the same as emptying the tank. And then, but I mean, she did empty the tank.
Who's the only goalie that wasn't on the ice when we won the championship that year in PA?
You.
Population, me, Loserville. Moving on here in the warm-up. Lions Riders tonight. Do we have the odds? I'm clearly looking in the wrong place. Do you want to look that up? Who's favored for this game tonight? I can tell you this. I have talked to coaches for both teams. Smitty, I want to get your take in here next. They have no idea what's going to happen tonight. Nobody knew what was going to happen last night. You're going to read or watch later on in the Ultra Update, the original 16 Ultra Update, that tonight the Riders and Lions have a very high bar to match for what the TiCats and Bombers did last night. What's it say?
Riders are favored by 7.
Come on!
By 7.
That's
the over-under's 48.
How about that?
By 7.
Bob Sharonko. I got to say, I'm taking BC to beat the spread.
I would too.
Yeah, absolutely. Huck it down.
But I kind of think the Riders will win the football game, but 7, that's aggressive.
Ryan, watching on YouTube, says, hey, Rod, how did you like the presentation of the game? I think TSN did a great job. Graphics were sharp. I liked it. Clearly, Rod Black is the number one play-by-play guy. There's no doubt with Glenn Suter. That was the pairing there. Do you know what I loved the most? All those aerial shots of IG Field. That's what I loved the most. I thought for years and years and years they've dropped the ball. They only really used it for playoff games in the Grey Cup. And I hope they do it every week, not just week one, because it looked great. The stadium was nearly full. As far as the game presentation, didn't look a whole lot different. Just Rod Black seemed abnormally bouncy, more than most. I liked the overhead cable camera on the opening kickoff that followed the kicker for Hamilton when he kicked off. That was cool. So, yeah, good question, by the way. Some innovative advancements by TSN for the game broadcast. But I was like, it's 2021. Can somebody put a drone up there? And we have all these beautiful stadiums in Canada. Let's show them off to the world.
Yeah.
And now we can't. Because for years, with Neverwin Stadium and Taylor Field and Winnipeg Stadium, they were so crappy. Bob Irving and I used to argue over whose stadium's worse, ours or theirs. Right? We don't want to. Let's not show these on national television. Okay, not to the Americans.
The TSN broadcast was like an Instagram feed. Let's just show the highlights of what looks good.
That's the poll question, by the way. Thanks, Clark, for the reminder for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. Who wins tonight? The BC Lions or the Saskatchewan Roughriders? And they, 79%, are saying the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Brady in Saskatoon says, bring them out. Bring on the Jesus sprinkles. Rider game day is upon us, and the first time in 628 days since Mosaic Stadium was packed for a Rider football game. So, yeah, people are excited about it. We'll talk more about all the games later. Mandy at Edmonton's awake and watching. She says, Lions have a lot to prove with their O-line. Where did it go? And the condition of Michael Riley. Riders have some significant offensive line issues of their own. And we'll be talking about that with Smitty coming up. I know we're somewhat running out of time here. So the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame game went last night. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat, okay, for lack of a better term, the Dallas Cowboys 16-3 last night. Dakota Prescott did not play for America's team. It's becoming a concern, the shoulder injury for him. Chase Claypool had 3 catches for 62 yards to lead all Steelers last night. But I'm going to ask Craig, I was going to say Smitty, how he has 5 screens set up, because I can't do that. I can only watch one. So I was on the CFL, and that's it. I cannot do more than one game. Maybe you'd be great at bingo, eh, Smitty? But you have a point about the game.
Well, the game was what the game was. It wasn't awesome football, but halftime. Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson, you've been talking about the feud there. And they actually, I was surprised because Jimmy's going into the Hall of Fame. They put him on the panel at the same time. And there's Jerry, I thought, rubbing it in, wearing his Hall of Fame jacket there right next to Jimmy Johnson. And they addressed the Ring of Honor thing. And you haven't seen this.
No, I haven't. I didn't see it. I was watching the CFL.
It was on Fox.
Call me crazy.
Can we roll it?
Yeah, of course. Let's. This is last night at halftime.
Asking right now, Jerry, when are you going to put Jimmy in the Ring of Honor?
Well, I think that's fair to say. Shall we do it right here, or shall?
Absolutely.
How's it?
We've got time.
We got plenty of time.
Well,
You picked the. Oh, look, Troy, you know all about this relationship.
That's amazing. And thanks for pulling that. Yeah, so Jimmy Johnson's going to go into the Cowboys Ring of Honor, which he should have been. I don't know how they got those two guys together to sit side by side, because Jimmy Johnson didn't know what was coming, and I admire them for that. But I'll tell you this. You can put it on both of us here, because I can tell you that Darren's clear. He wants to say something. But this is the thing with my dad that I learned from my dad, and I'm the exact same way. My dad always would say, if I don't like you, you'll know that I don't like you. You'll know. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. You doesn't get much more real than that. That was my dad. So how did they get Jera and Jimmy side by side?
I know. And
I wouldn't do it.
I know, because he's going in. And so then when Terry Bradshaw asks him the question, Jerry Jones, he doesn't want to look like a bad person. So then he's kind of forced to say he's going in.
Exactly.
And Jimmy's not wrong to question, while I'm alive, because Jerry will find a way to keep him out.
Well, he'll have him put to death by Monday.
That's funny.
Probably could. Thanks for pulling that. That's funny. Okay, we'll see you a little later on, Moose.
You bet.
Point 4 was tomorrow's doubleheader in the CFL. We'll be discussing that later. Blue Jays won again over Cleveland. 3-0 was the final, and they got the Red Sox this weekend. They're 6.5 out. What is going on with the Blue Jays? And did you see they turned their locker room into their clubhouse into a dance club last night?
I kind of saw something, yeah.
It looked like
the lights,
a club.
Yeah.
It was their locker room. Good for them. And, of course, we did the Olympics already, so we covered it. The warm-up for Ecold Electric. See you later, Moose.
See ya.
Smitty in next, and we've got Hustler coming up, too, from Winnipeg on a Flame Tech Football Friday. You're watching on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds, full-service car wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Capital is Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalfordlincoln.com to see how we roll and to learn about what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's what you get when you choose Capital Ford Lincoln, Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, welcome back to the program, everybody. It is a FlameTech Football Friday. Everybody's excited, obviously, and FlameTech's locally owned and operated industry leaders in commercial and industrial combustion technology. And then the good news continues. Darren just came and showed me the set for our show next Friday from Winnipeg. FlameTech Football Friday will be from Winnipeg in advance of the Blue Bombers and the Argonauts. If you want to know what our set's going to look like, let's put it this way. Sarah Orleski, I promise to leave it the way we found it. Okay? That's all that I need to say.
How about that?
Right in the heart of the action. And from our viewers today, from the 204, how about them Bombers? TiCats haven't won a game in what, a year and a half? Great show, Rod and Moose. That from the 204, from Metal Shingle Guy. Well, Rod, Zach looks like he's back in MOP form. Could be a scary team when he's got all his weapons on the field. Hamilton must have read the press clippings again. From Ray in the 6, Kitchener area. Hey, Rod, it was so great to see the CFL back in action last night. What a performance by Winnipeg native and rookie Brady Oliveira. And Ray also adds, here we go, breaking, Elks walkthrough and media availability today has been canceled due to COVID protocols. We'll update as much more information becomes available. I just want to talk about good things today. Yeah. And Don Mitchell, our Navy friend, wants to know if we're tailgating at the armories tonight, and we are not because of Canadian Armed Forces regulations, COVID. There will be no non-military personnel on National Defense Grounds until at least Labor Day. So there will not be a tailgate at the Armories tonight. And just ahead of Hustler, joining us from Winnipeg, we got our Director of Scouting, Craig Smith, with us, two-time Grey Cup champion. Smitty, your breakdown, please, of the Bombers and TiCats last night.
Well, going in, I had problems with the defensive backfield, the two new kids that were going to take over, and then the Sam linebacker, Johnson. Those kids played very, very well. And how about that front? You know, the two edge guys, you knew that they were going to be good, but then Richardson inside with the kid from Acadia. I'm getting old. Kid from Acadia and of course, Kongbo. I mean, the pressure that they had was just unbelievable. And the linebackers, I mean, that's a pretty darn good defense. So that was huge. But how about the Winnipeg kid, Oliveira? I saw him a couple of years ago when he was a sophomore at North Dakota, and I went, wow, this kid's something. This kid's, as a sophomore, and he lit it up. He went in last night, and that's the kind of running back that you can have in the CFL. He's a shorter kid. He doesn't have the 4.4 speed, but you know what he can do? He can get you in between 5 and 10 yards by going straight ahead, and that offensive line, pretty darn good. I think it was difficult for Hamilton because they had issues with regards to the offensive line. The center hadn't played center before. The guard and the tackle, very, very difficult. You know, kids that hadn't played very much. Gibbon, and then the other kid that played tackle. It's a difficult thing. So they're going to be better. They're going to be definitely a better team. You know, once Van Zyl gets back.
They lost only 3 all of last season, so Orlando Steinauer seemed to be fuming after the game. Let's bring in Hustler now, Andrew Paterson from Winnipeg Sports Talk, and still smiling, Huss? After last night, still smiling?
Oh, Rod, and the smile got bigger this morning. I'm still buzzing from our women winning the gold medal in women's soccer. Pretty incredible 24 hours, certainly for people around here. I think the entire nation is excited for what we saw on the pitch today in Tokyo. But I got to tell you, we knew it would be emotional getting back, being back with people again. And man, it was, I mean, honestly, the result of the game, everyone loved. But that was almost secondary, Rod, to getting this community and sports fans back together again for the first time. Well, literally since the Bombers raised their cup, finally got to raise the banner last night and played a hell of a football game in front of 30,000 as well.
Yeah, well, you were there. I was watching on television. It was a young, vibrant, party-type crowd. Everybody just looked to be so happy to be there. But again, the Bombers won. I mean, TiCats were favored going in, and there was no part of me that didn't think the Bombers weren't going to win last night. And I'm not just pandering to our Winnipeg viewers. I believed it. They looked good, Huss.
Well, they certainly did. And, I mean, granted, that first drive by Hamilton sure looked pretty good. But we were joking at the end of the game that the TSN turning point of the game was the 2-point convert. Because literally after that point, I mean, the Bomber defense stepped up. And then, I mean, Zach Collaros must have been looking at tape of Kyler Murray or something last night, Rod. I mean, the way he was scrambling and making things happen. It was exciting, and it was impressive, the fact that they did it without Darvin Adams, who is their number one deep threat, and, of course, Andrew Harris. And the Harris situation is interesting. We certainly know what he's done. I mean, he's a made man in this city after what he did over the last 4 years, but he's 34 years old. And there's a new young horse in town, another Winnipeg kid, Brady Oliveira, who stepped up in a huge way for the team last night. And I think certainly for Kyle Walters and Mike O'Shea, it gives them a lot of confidence going forward in that backfield position. Even if Andrew Harris isn't what he once was or isn't up to, playing the amount of touches and the amount of regularity that he'd been as a mainstay for the Bomber offense over the last number of seasons.
I heard Andrew Harris feels a lot better today, is what I heard. Smitty, you got any questions for Hustler on that game last night or this one tonight?
Hey, Andrew, I just wanted to say I really enjoy your show. I don't see it all the time, but I get to take a look as a good old Winnipeg boy.
Thanks, Greg.
Listen to the Jets information and, of course, now the Bomber stuff. But how was it last night going into the stadium? And I remember when in '84 when they won in '85. We came back. I was a season ticket holder in Winnipeg, and it was just so fantastic. What can you say about last night and the atmosphere and everything?
It was an absolutely special night. And I will say this, and many people, you see it on television. Sometimes the Bomber crowd can be, shall we say, late arriving, especially in the new stadium. Often, and listen, they almost sell social passes right now where you kind of come in and don't get a seat. So the Rum Hut area was packed, but everything was packed. They knew that banner was going up at 7:30. But I think that, with the protocols and having to show that you're double vaxxed, people were concerned that, I want to make sure that I got in. Guys, 6:15 in the building, there was a good 100 people in every single concession line, beer line, and the atmosphere was, honestly, guys, it was something that I'll never forget because as much as the game was about to come up, and of course the long-awaited raising of the Grey Cup banner that Bomber fans had been waiting for 3 decades to happen again, it was more about just being back and seeing the smiles on people's faces. Friends, people that you just know from bumping into them at games that honestly, they haven't been at Jet games, haven't been at Bomber games. It was special. It was emotional. It was exciting. And people were absolutely fired up. It was a beautiful night. It was a great way to start the Canadian Football League season. And much to the delight of everybody there, after the banner went up, the home team stepped up and put another licking on the TiCats that reminded a lot of people about the job they did in Calgary in November of 2019.
I'm going to move on to the other games in a moment, but first, there's a lot of interesting comments coming in from our viewers. Randolph Zora in Ontario. Well, hang on. Let me back up. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says, Caleros put on a master class in scrambling. Should there be any concern, though, that he was getting flushed out of the pocket so much? Somebody asks if you get nervous every time Zach takes off. Yeah, it's Nelson Hack, which is, does Hustler hold his breath every time Zach starts to scramble? Randolph in Ontario says, what is he, 32? But what is that supposed to be old, for God's sakes? Like, we got to forget, I think, Zach, he put that to rest in 2019, in the fall of 20. I was not worried about him last night at all. Are you guys? I'll start with you, Huss.
Yeah. Honestly, it all goes back to that first hit that he took in that game against Calgary. And everyone was holding their breath. And then we all know how the story finished in 2019. I think there is an element, and this is no different than any starting quarterback in professional football, but the way that the Bombers are all in on Zach Caleros and don't have a lot behind him, with all due respect to Sean McGuire. So there is a little bit of nervousness, but I got to tell you, the way he was moving last night, and Zach Caleros he's been through a lot in this league. He's been hurt. He understands self-preservation. And he had a few great runs, hit the dirt when he needed to. And I'll tell you what, I feel a lot better about Zach Caleros going forward, knowing that Jamarcus Hardrick and Stanley Bryant and the best O-line, or at least right up there with the best O-lines, is protecting him right now. So, there's always a little bit of nervous moments when you're all in on one quarterback and he gets out there a little bit. But I think Zach's performance last night was great. And as I said, Rod, we've talked about this plenty of times before, going back to the Grey Cup. I mean, football is more often than not won on the line of scrimmage. And the Bombers are still elite on the line of scrimmage, both in front of Zach Caleros and going at the opposing quarterback with the likes of Willie Jefferson.
I should move on to the other games. But the viewers are wondering about Riders-Lions tonight, Friday Night Football from Mosaic Stadium. What is your take on the matchup, and what do you think is going to go down?
Well, like so much, it's really hard to come in with definitive takes about week one of the CFL season. That's a big reason why all the sports books, Rod, have been in a staring contest all week waiting to hang lines on. Mm-hmm. But it's funny, we on our show, because we didn't have lines, and it's sort of a fun betting exercise before they come out to sort of make your own thoughts on where you think the line would be and then compare it to what comes out. And it's a good kind of idea to direct you where you want to make your wager. But I had Saskatchewan being about a 7-point favorite. I think they're at home. There's a lot of uncertainty about, I guess we call him Michael Riley now. Michael Riley, yes, and how he's going to be protected. And we know the season that they had, last year in British Columbia. So I kind of figured that the Riders would be about a touchdown favorite. And, I think it sort of makes sense. Still interested to see how the Rider defense looks. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The catastrophe that happened before the Riders began training camp sort of put a bit of a cloud going into everything. But there's a lot of talent on that team. And to be honest, I'm a lot more confident that the Riders will have it together than BC with so many changes, and especially considering what the Lions looked like the last time we saw them on the field.
Yeah, yesterday you had Milt on, and Milt was he was essentially hitting it right on with regards to Lawler and Dembski. They had excellent games. Milt was right on your show. It was incredible.
Yeah, he called his shot, Craig. He said that, watch for Kenny Lawler tonight. I think there was a lot of people in our CFL DraftKings pools that were taking notes because the ownership of those two guys went right up when they got the endorsement from Milt Stegall on Winnipeg Sports Talk yesterday. But Kenny Lawler really emerged last year as a reliable, dynamic receiver. And the thing that it's so hard to compare to, the 2019 team because they were a unicorn in some ways. I mean, teams don't win the Grey Cup with the lowest passing yardage in this Canadian Football League. But that's the way the Bombers did it. And, you had a number of receivers that were absolutely capable of 1,000-yard seasons. But the way the Bombers, called the game, the way Lapo set things up and relied on Andrew Harris and, of course, Chris Streveler didn't give them as much opportunity. I think now with Andrew Harris sort of getting into the second half of his career, well, needless to say that, and the fact that Zach Collaros is the quarterback and will be for almost all of the plays this season, I think means that we'll see a more traditional CFL-type offense, and that's good news for guys like Kenny Lawler, who are going to get a lot more opportunities straight up to go out and show what they can do, as opposed to the limited opportunities that Bomber receivers had in the 2019 season.
One more for Huss, and then Smitty and I will be back after the break to break down the Riders and Lions tonight because there's a lot of questions, obviously, because it's game day in the 306. Trevor Bazzillo, though, in Winnipeg says, Jets and Bombers, if Hellebuck or Collaros go down, we're done. Jessica Dracul watching on YouTube. She's a Winnipegger. She said she does the emoji Collaros with the hearts for eyes emoji. Listen, I'll finish with this. Zach never caught on here. And I don't know why, because he's got movie idol good looks. He's a great guy. It looks like he might catch on in Winnipeg, though, Huss. Am I right?
Well, and to be honest, Rod, that was the first time that I think most Winnipeg fans have seen Zach Collaros play in person. I mean, if you recall, there was the one start in the final game of the 2019 regular season.
Which he won. A big one.
Which he won. We were all in Regina. It was the Jets and Flames at the Heritage Classic that weekend. I can remember. It was a great night. I'll never forget that pass to Darvin Adams. But we were all in on Moxie's or somewhere, watching it with Flames and Jets fans. So, the way he came in, I think expectations were somewhat low because of everything that had happened. And, they run the table in the playoffs and win the Grey Cup. So much like I said, Andrew Harris was a made man. Zach Collaros doesn't have as much time served here, but you deliver a Grey Cup and you're going to have your fair share of fans. And then when he showed up with this new look and the Jack Sparrow hair, everything, there was, I can see why there was the heart emojis. There's probably a few fans in Winnipeg that are dropping that. But bottom line, it's about winning football games. And Zach Collaros has won 5 of them, has yet to take an L as the quarterback for the Bombers. And his legion of fans grows, I think, by the day.
For sure. All he does is win. I don't care. He's got his detractors, and he does care. He just goes out and proves them wrong every week. Huss, thanks for the time, sir. See you next week, man. I hope you can come down to our live show. We'll be at Canada Life Center.
That sounds amazing, Rod. We'll look forward to it and enjoy the game tonight, the rest of the CFL action, and we'll talk some week 2 with you next week.
Hey, buddy, Winnipeg Sports Talk. Tell the folks where they can find it.
Yeah, we're on live basically right after Rod's show, live at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern every day. It's Winnipeg Sports Talk on YouTube. And then the podcast gets out for your drive home in and around 3:30. Any podcast feed, just simply search Winnipeg Sports Talk, and hopefully you can join us.
Thanks, Huss.
Later, dude.
Andrew Hustler Paterson joining us from the Slurpee capital. When we come back, a sports update and previews of the other 3 games in the Canadian Football League. We'll talk some National Football League, too. Talk a little more about Canada and their gold medal win over Sweden today at the Olympics in women's soccer. Lots to get to on this Flame Tech Football Friday on Game Plus TV, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
At Capital GMC, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital GMC, we'll buy it.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RPShow gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RPShow gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Flame Tech Football Friday continues. Now, 20 minutes with Smitty here. And then next hour, Giulio Caravatta in the bunker and Farhan Lalji as we get ready for the Riders and Lions tonight. I don't know. I didn't mean to start a jihad, a holy war, but I just said I don't know why it didn't work in Saskatchewan with Zach Caleros, but clearly it's working in Winnipeg. Chad Hall's watching on Facebook, writes in and he says, Zach was a jerk when he was in Saskatchewan. That's why he never caught on. A jerk to whom? I was around him every day. Maybe, Smitty, it's because I'm a jerk. And jerks stick together. Or maybe the jerk store called, Chad, and they're running low on you.
Oh, good one, Rod.
I wasn't around. You know, I was obviously
He's a great guy.
battling cancer. But, you know, I know people who know him, and he's the greatest guy. One of the guys that I worked with, he allowed, when he was in Toronto, he allowed him to stay at his place, and he said Zach's excellent. So I don't know what the deal is there, but
yeah, I don't think he was a jerk here. No, he couldn't get on the field.
Well, injuries.
That's why.
Injuries is a big thing, you know, and
yeah.
You know, that's a tough thing when you get injured, and you know he got that hit in the first game, and that was it.
Yeah,
you know?
It was never the same.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Boy, this is now people are. It's not a dump on Zach Day. Give me a break. Don't be jealous.
Spicy.
Yeah, he's winning in Winnipeg. You got your guy. Let's move on. I shouldn't have brought it up. Sports update. The Canadian women's soccer team made history by reaching the Olympic final for the first time. Julia Grosso, with a big assist from goalie Stephanie Labbé, made sure her team was on the right side of it. Grosso's winner gave Canada a 3-2 decision over Sweden on penalty kicks Friday morning after the teams were tied at 1 at the end of regulation and extra time. Ross Stripling demonstrated for the second straight outing he wants to stay in the Blue Jays rotation, backed by Bo Bichette's 2-run blast in the 4th inning and run-scoring single in the 6th. Stripling was spot on with 6 strikeouts in his 6 innings in the Blue Jays' 3-0 win against Cleveland. And they got Boston now this weekend in Toronto as the Jays continue to roll. Joey Gallo hit his first homer as a Yankee. That's one for you, Smitty.
Yeah.
A go-ahead 3-run blast in the 7th, and New York beat the Seattle Mariners 5-3. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Are we going to come to blows? Blue Jays and Yankees, you and me?
I like the Blue Jays, too.
Oh, you do?
Oh, for sure. Oh,
okay.
Darn right. You know, nobody yelled louder than in '93 when
right.
Joe hit that home run.
The Niagara River Lions survived a late-game surge by the Hamilton Honey Badgers to clinch second place in the CEBL regular season standings with an 84-81 win at the First Ontario Centre Thursday night. With the result, the Niagara River Lions have secured a semifinal berth at Championship Weekend being held in Edmonton on August 20th. And the Pittsburgh Steelers followed a stumbling first half with a strong final 30 minutes to beat the Dallas Cowboys 16-3 in the first NFL preseason game in 2 years. Last year's exhibition games were canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It was an enthusiastic crowd in Canton, Ohio last night for 2 of the league's most popular franchises being on the field in the Hall of Fame game, regardless of how many backups were in action. This sports update for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. Okay, Smitty, we got some time left in this segment. Let's break it down. Lions Riders tonight. And here's the thing. I got guys that have been... Giulio, by the way, is in the studio here. He's in the bunker. That's who I was waving at. I got people that are going to Rider practice over the last couple weeks, and they're saying the Riders are going to be bad. And I said, well, you don't know what the BC's got. Maybe they're going to be not as good. And they're like, maybe it's a battle Friday night of who's the least bad. Who, in terms of injuries, and this patchwork O-line, Smitty, for Saskatchewan is a concern.
That's a big concern. There's no doubt about that. It looks like BC has solidified that offensive line. I can hardly wait to hear Giulio and about what's going on. But they got Riker at tackle. The question for me is the center at Godber. But other than that, I think that line is going to be good. How about Michael Riley?
How about him?
What's going to happen? Giulio will probably know more than anybody, but is he going to be coming out? Is he going to be healthy? They've got loads of ability. They've got one of the best receivers in the game is Burnham, and there's a bunch of guys around him. Running back, they've got a running back that is kind of a typical CFL guy. He's a shorter, thicker, 4.56 kind of guy. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Defensive backfield, that is something that I'm really looking forward to see, especially to the wide side of the field. I've got my the Gambos, who's a wide field side corner, and then Keontae Harden, he's a field side half. Never heard of those guys. But
listen, when you come up with these names and they sometimes slip your mind, don't ask me.
Yeah, no.
Because I don't know. We're going to have to watch a few weeks of these games.
Exactly, exactly. But, the bottom line is what's going to happen with regards to that Lion defense. That offense for Saskatchewan, Caleros, he showed a ton last year, and as far as I'm concerned, he's going to be good. Offensive line, what's really interesting is that at guard, They've got 2 Regina Thunder kids playing. Now Clark's been there forever, but Furland is this is going to be his first game. He's starting ahead of the Oklahoma Sooner.
Josiah St. John.
Exactly. Think about that. I mean, it's just totally incredible.
Number 1 overall pick, Craig.
Exactly. So the offensive line now, Boyko when he was in BC, I was shocked because I went down to Vegas and I watched film and I talked to his coach when he was coming out. I thought he was going to be a pretty good. Well, he wasn't that great last year, 2 years ago. We'll see how he goes. I'm praying for the kid. I'm hoping, see what happens.
Smitty, you good for one more segment?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we got some news too from the merchandise store when we come back as well. It's exciting. It's a Flame Tech Football Friday. You're watching on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube and Facebook live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry. There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives, focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at Flame Tech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. Flame Tech Football Friday continues. We got to take care of a little business before more with our Director of Scouting, Craig Smith. And, Clark, I'm throwing a curve at this. Landmark Cinemas, as you know, is one of our biggest partners here at the Rod Pedersen Show all across the prairies. And our poll question today on Twitter is, what movie do you want to see the most at Landmark Cinemas this weekend? Your options: Suicide Squad, which opens tonight, Green Knight, Disney's Jungle Cruise, or Space Jam. And winning by a mile is Suicide Squad with 63%. Last Saturday, I went to two. I had a doubleheader, Smitty. I went to Disney's Jungle Cruise and Space Jam and loved them both.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise is good.
It's so good. The Rock stars in it. Yeah. I'm watching this movie going, why would the CFL want to partner with a loser like this guy, yeah. The Rock?
Yeah.
Wow, I get it. So Landmark Cinema is the place to go all across the prairies this weekend. And we've got new merchandise in the Rod Pedersen Shop. Well, that's the Suicide Squad. We'll talk about that next hour. That's why I said I apologize for throwing you a curve. Can you show the... Is that the merchandise in the store? Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's not what we're selling in the rodpedersenshop.com. We're not. No turtle outfits. So while we... And that's why I apologize. I'm sorry. Smitty, your beautiful wife reminded me to ask you about how you watch 5 games at once in your home.
Well, you mean how we set it up?
Yes, whatever. No, yeah. Mentally, how do you do it? Because I can only watch 1 game at a time.
Well, football is a lot easier than hockey because there's breaks in the action. Now, you know, as a fan, it's real easy. As an evaluator, it's not that easy,
right?
You know, because when you're there, I mean, or when you're watching, you know, you're looking at certain people, so you can pick and choose. But generally, when I do that, it's more entertainment. Last night I had both games on, but you know what I concentrated on? I mean,
the CFL.
I taped the Dallas game, and I'll watch that, but. She set it up. I've got 3 TVs, and we've got a couple cable providers, and then one of the Bell Express View, they have Bell Fibe, so I can hook up computers on that, so I can have 5 different things.
It's unbelievable that you do this. See, here's what I do. I watch the CFL. If I'd gone to the Hall of Fame game last night, I would have stayed there and forgot to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I can't. Yeah. I can only watch 1 game at a time.
Well, when I got the cancer, she hooked it up for me, so I could.
She's gold.
Yeah, she's
golden. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do have in the store. Here it is. RodPedersenShop.com right now. These Canadian football shirts. Look at that. 12 players, 110 yards, 3 downs, 20-yard end zones. The rouge, the ratio, no fair catch. That's one look at it. You can purchase these now at RodPedersenShop.com. What else? I haven't even seen these yet.
Now, Clark, I hope
that's the 2 shirts? Okay, so you can order those right. What are they running them? 20. Doesn't matter. Just put your credit card down. We're supposed to ask Darren, and Darren's not here right now. So you can pick those up for Canadian football fans. Buy them at RodPedersenShop.com. Somebody wrote in here and said it's Ottawa Red Blacks year, Smitty. And I got to say, then do your talking on the field. That's all. Don't talk here. Talk Saturday night in Edmonton.
See, Ottawa, I think, they're going to be better than what they were. They've got a quarterback that has won games. They've got a great offensive coordinator. I love Benny. You know that.
Yes. How can you not?
Dice. I mean, they've got a solid offense, a solid staff. So they're going to be better. There's no doubt.
It's going to be 2 great games on Saturday. They're kicking us off the air, Smitty.
Ah, shit.
Enjoy the games. Giulio next hour and Farhan Lalji coming up after this break on Game Plus TV.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RPShow gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RPShow gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It's a big day. It's opening day in the Canadian Football League.
How about that?
People are jacked. Yeah. My phone's going off all day with fans of all CFL teams just so excited that there's a game tonight. It's CFL opening night, and as I saw on SportsCenter this morning, it's been 620 days, apparently, since the last game. Winnipeg's alive.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, good day, Canada. Welcome to the RP Show. It's hour 2. I say good afternoon to those in the East. Good morning to the rest of us in the West. We're coming to you from the bunker. You're seeing a brand new face here in this second half kickoff for Core Grain. Core Grain, our newest partner here at the RP Show, doing the right thing for your farm. They bring you this second half kickoff in the entire second hour. Giulio Caravatta is in studio. He is the longtime radio color voice of the BC Lions, former BC Lions quarterback, punter, Grey Cup champion. And again,
it's a long time ago.
Does it feel like that long ago?
It was not only a long time ago. It was a lot of LBs ago. It was a lot of everything ago.
Well,
it's my life.
You played thick. Come on,
I did play thick. My dad was a thick man. So
is that right?
Yes.
I appreciate you coming up to the bunker here on game day.
Well, when I've seen you, this looks impressive when you watch, and it's impressive when you get here. Nice setup, buddy. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Well, we like to have fun here.
Yeah.
We're proud of it. And this is exactly what we wanted. And I'm telling you, I knew with the CFL kicking off, it was going to be great for us. We could preview the game yesterday, preview tonight's game, and break down last night's game. 19-6, Winnipeg Blue Bombers beating the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Trust me, we're going to get to the Riders and Lions tonight. But what was your takeaway? You obviously watched it.
Yeah, no, I watched it. I think as much hype as it's all getting, and it like it should. They haven't played in 642 days. No preseason games, just the training camp. And I'm just one of those guys. I've learned over the years that there's just no way, Roddy, of being able to replicate the pressure and anxiety that comes with a game, right? So you can do all you want in practices, but it's just not the same. So these guys now are going from training camp scenarios to all of a sudden playing a regular season game. And sure, they're all emotional. It's all, you're hyped and stuff, but still, there's going to be, I think, a lot of rust there, execution-wise. And, I would expect for all the teams heading out that there's no one that's going to come out and just kind of light it up unless there's, some colossal mistakes on both sides of the ball. But everyone has to start somewhere, and this is where they're going to start.
For sure. And I expected a lot more sloppiness than we saw last night. We didn't. I mean, I was talking about it last hour. We didn't see drop passes. We didn't see missed tackles. We didn't see procedure calls, offside calls. We didn't see any of that, at least not when I watched.
Yeah.
I did fall asleep before it was over. It did get a little boring. But the start was great.
Welcome to my world, buddy.
Welcome to this stage of life.
Exactly right.
But so they're saying there might be a quarterback controversy in Hamilton because Jeremiah Masoli, opening drive, looked lights out, and then after that, something changed. But for Zach Collaros in Winnipeg, I was talking the last hour with Smitty, it didn't happen in Saskatchewan for Zach, but it's happening in Winnipeg for Zach. He looks great.
Yeah. I mean, they got a good team. He's a veteran quarterback. He understands everything that is happening on a field, Roddy, and that to me is everything. When you have a quarterback that steps out there and is in complete control of the game, he's super confident in his game plan. He's super confident in what the defense is going to do, and it's just a matter of going out and executing. You can tell those guys, that the Collaros, the Bo Levis, the Rileys, those kinds of guys, Trevor Harris, when they step onto the field, they're a threat because of that experience and that veteran leadership.
Mm-hmm. So, to tonight's game, and we invite the comments from the Bomber fans and the TiCats fans too, but a lot of people want to know what you think is going to go down with the BC Lions at the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight. I've seen 6.5 favorites. Saskatchewan blows me away.
Yeah, that's to me a little high, right? Considering, there's a lot of change for both teams, right? So I can't see that kind of score unless, like you say, if somebody's going to come out and absolutely crap the bed and turn the ball over 7 times. But this is going to be a fairly close game. It's going to be really interesting because there's so much change, I think, on both teams. With the Lions, they've on offense. I think I heard Craig talk about this in the previous hour about the Lions and getting Riker Matthews. I think he's really solidified that right side of the offensive line. The other guy that and he mentioned Peter Godber at center. I think he's obviously a guy that's been in the system but hasn't been healthy. Now is healthy, but I'd look at a guy like Suk Chung, who played in 2019 hurt, and it really, really affected the way I think he played. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder about proving that he's the player that everyone thought he was going to be. And sometimes when you have that motivation, and that whole offensive line has that motivation, everyone talks about the 58 sacks and how bad they were, and they were getting their quarterback killed. Well, you live with that for a long time, right? Because that's been the big question mark.
Yep.
Guys start to say to themselves, hey, they start to take it personal, right? And I get that sense that there's a real chip on that offensive line shoulder that they want to prove that they're not as bad as people think they are.
I'm sure there is, but here's the thing, Giulio. I mean, you and I talk. You know that I'm not working in the league actively now, but I'm talking to people every day. And somebody said to me the other day, with the Lions and their sacks, they said, that's Riley's fault. He holds on to the ball too long.
Yeah.
That's on him. Well, you hear that all the time.
No, I agree. And that's one of the points I wanted to make as well, is that a lot of people look at sacks and they say, that's the offensive line. Well, if you know anything about football, you realize that it's not just about the offensive line. It's the running backs. It's the quarterbacks. There's a lot of blame to go around. Now, and I will say, like people say about Riley holding the ball. Well, I can tell you this, that in this offense, or the offense that the Lions have tried to run, it's a very much like the Mark Trestman offense, right? Mm-hmm. These guys are, Jordan McSimic is a guy that's off that tree. Jason Moss, Jarius Jackson, all these guys are off that tree. So it's a very precise passing game where every step means something. So if you're supposed to run a 12-yard curl, it means you run it at 12. You don't run it at 10. You don't run it at 13. Right. And so when you do, you're not running it at 10. You're running it at 14 or 13. The quarterback is holding the ball because he doesn't know whether or not you're going to turn. So there's a lot that goes into a sack. And, I just think that was one of the big things that hurt the Lions in 2019 was that those little details that weren't being executed. And they've really, really harped on that through training camp, and we'll see whether or not they can execute it on the field. But I like their offense. Dominic Rhymes is the real deal. I mean, he's proven he's a 1,000-yard receiver in this league. Big target. Lucky Whitehead, do I need to, he's a proven commodity as well. He brings a lot of versatility to an offense. He's a guy that can, I think is an underrated route runner, but can still do all that kind of, the reverses and all the kind of swing passes and quick screens that they do. He's a guy that can really help your offense, and I think he will.
Well, you again hear so much bunk. You don't know what to believe. I hear they're going to throw it up and have Lucky Whitehead go get it all night. and they like the matchup that Shaq Johnson's going against on the field, wide side. Yeah, I got BC to beat the spread, if you will. Riders are favored by 6.57. I don't see it being that wide. I don't. Now, did you get to Kamloops for training camp?
Yeah, I did.
So
I saw one whole practice because 3 of them got canceled because of the smoke. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you get tired of being asked questions like, is Riley going to play tonight? What's the deal there?
Well, I think like a lot of players, and I've heard right across the league, like, Bo Levi Mitchell and Matt Nichols, all these guys have taken some time off through training camp. And that's the other part, right? Like, I don't have to tell you here in Saskatchewan about the news that they made before training camp even started with their injuries. That's going to be another huge part of this season, I think, is what is that layoff going to do to these players? And you knock on wood that it doesn't. You want to see the stars healthy and playing and being the stars. But I think that the layoff is going to have an effect on these guys. I really do. And we're just going to have to cross our fingers and hope it doesn't happen. But as far as Michael Riley goes, he's there's nothing, I think, structurally wrong with him. I think that it's just soreness. And it's one of those things that happens during training camp. You're gonna get a sore shoulder, you're gonna get sore elbow, and you're just gonna have to play through it. And I think he threw this week, didn't throw during practice. Nathan Rourke did, and let me tell you, I saw one practice at training camp, but I saw all 4 practices back in BC, and I'm excited to see that
gamer,
kid.
Right?
He's got something that he does. There's no panic to his game. He's a guy too, PD, I think, has really benefited from the fact that having the time off, and you think about, getting drafted. Now all of a sudden, it wasn't like you get drafted and then 3 weeks later you're in a pro training camp. And by the way, here's your 200.
Which happens,
right?
Yeah.
What happens to everybody? Yeah. But now all of a sudden you have the ability to learn that offense, and especially the verbiage, which can be overwhelming for a rookie quarterback. And you get in there and you have a whole year to kind of go over it, and in the meetings and doing all those things, you can tell this kid has really paid attention. And he really hit the ground running when he got to training camp. And usually I will say that a rookie quarterback will make one read and then there's a sense of panic to your game. Like, they're not developed enough in the sense that they want to look for their second and third read. Nathan Rourke has proven to me, like watching him in practice, and again, this is just practice, that he's got that ability. There's no panic. First read, not there. Okay, slide, move in the pocket. Second read, third read. He has the athleticism to move around, but he also has the mentality to know where to go with the football.
Played at Ohio, very mature kid, but he's still a rookie.
Yes.
So I'm sure
everyone's got to start someone, Roddy.
Right. The Lions would be happy to not see him tonight. I don't think there's any doubt of it. It's 11-11, by the way. Make a wish. Carlos Legena's watching in Indianapolis. Says, I don't think too many people saw last night's game going like it did. Yeah, and I'll comment on that in a moment. James in Borda, Manitoba says, I was really sad when the Bombers let Lucky go. He's a gamer. He's a gamer, but money talks. I like Lucky too. He'll be fun. He'll be fun to watch.
But Lucky's again. I'll even for me, like when you see a guy in games, you think, oh God, he's like, he comes in those reverses and they out of the backfield and but man, you watch him run a route. Like, I mean, he's a very, very good route runner. So again, when you add pieces like that to an already, I think, pretty veteran-laden offense, you throw Dominic Rhymes, Lucky Whitehead, Brian Burnham, Lamar Durant, Shaq Johnson, Javon Cotoy. I mean, they've got good skill all across the board. And the thing about what I like about this version of their offense is that, it was always Brian Burnham. And then if they're doing something with Burnham, then you're going to go throw to Durant and you're going to scatter. I mean, right across the board, they've got guys that can hurt you. So we'll see if that's going to translate into games. But I'm excited on what I see on paper offensively.
Yeah. Well, again, who knows until tonight. As Carlos and Indy said, last night's game, didn't see it coming. Very fluent, very up-tempo, wasn't slow. We didn't see injuries.
Yeah.
So let's hope that continues tonight.
Keeps going, yeah.
But from the Saskatchewan side, Giulio, I got to ask you your take on Cody Fajardo tonight because he's my guy. I love me some Cody Fajardo. And just hang on, because I've said to my buddy Mike Lee, who's probably watching right now, he's an oil man, I said, I hope there's no sophomore jinx for Cody. And he goes, no, his second year was wiped out. It's gone.
So the sophomore year's gone.
Yeah, so we're into year 3 as a starter here. What do you see for this guy out of Nevada?
I will honestly, we had Cody in British Columbia, and I will say one of the nicest guys you're going to meet. Just always got a smile on his face. I was always a big fan from when he played in college, because I thought what he did in college was extraordinary at Nevada. You know, over 9,000 yards passing and over 3,000 yards rushing. I mean, this guy's an athlete, and I think he proved that when he became a starter. Is I don't think anybody thought he was going to do what he did. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. There's nobody that thought he was going to do that. But given the opportunity, he was able to put a fantastic season up. Now, having said that, it's a different mentality when you get the big contract and then the expectation is, hey, you got to do it again.
Here it is.
And here it is, right? You were one of the best passers in the CFL. He was the best passer in the CFL, wasn't he, last year? Or 2 years ago? You've got to do it again. And that's what the great ones do, right? There's a lot of examples of guys that have put up years, and then the following year you think, what happened? In BC, we had one. Jonathan Jennings, Casey Printers. There's a lot of guys like that. Not saying that Cody's going to do that, but that's